Good morning. Good morning. Have I pressed the right buttons? Is it working? Is the volume on? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello there. Friday. It's a beautiful day here in the southeast of England. Absolutely glorious. Well, actually, hang on. We're in Africa, aren't we? Hujambo. I'm getting the knack of this. Now I've learned how to spell it as well. Come on in. Hujambo. Hey? I learnt another one today. Thank you. Asante. It's a nice language, Swahili, isn't it? Good morning. Come on in. I wonder what we're going to do today then. As if we didn't know. Hey? Are you ready? It's a nice way to start the day. I'm on telly at the moment with Paul. Hochanda.com. Yeah, we're doing an hour. And then at 1 o'clock again, we're doing another hour. They're really nice stamps and stencils and dies. Beautiful. They're kind of mixed media, quite grungy, like patterns and harlequin, and really quite good. I'll show you a bit of artwork. Wait, that sort of thing. That's the sort of thing that you can make with the stuff that's on telly at the moment. I quite like that. That's my kind of speed. It's a canvas. Yeah, so you can see there's harlequin stamps and all sorts on there. So that's what's on telly at the moment. Oh, hang on, let me just put that back. Excuse me. Just thought I'd shine a light on Hochanda too. Hey, good people, very good people. Hochanda stands for Home of Crafts, Hobbies and Art. There we are. Hochanda.com, easy to find. And we are in the SHAC, aren't we? Good morning, come on in. 3 minutes to 10, early to the party. We do like to get here early, don't we? This is very African, isn't it? Look, I haven't had this on for years because the buttons pop open. So you'd be walking along happily and then suddenly people start staring at you and you realise that the first top two buttons have opened up. So I've got a t-shirt on underneath now. So it's going to get hot in here. I know, what I ought to do is just get a needle and thread and make the buttonholes a bit smaller or replace the buttons with slightly larger buttons. But that, that's one of those I'll get to it jobs. Come on in. Good morning. Good morning. Lovely to have your company. Do you know that this is the end of week 9? Week 9. We've been doodling together as a gang, as a group of friends now, for 9 weeks. That's over 2 months. That's crazy, isn't it? Every day at 10 o'clock, apart from the weekends. No wonder my arm aches. No wonder my hand's gone dead. It has, something not quite right with it. And it's been a couple of days now. It's starting to cramp up quite a lot. So I'm quite relieved that it's the weekend. Give it a rest. Give it a rest, I said. Come on in. Good morning. Stuart's in the building with us today, with you. So if you have any questions, good morning, Stuart. He'll be happy to answer. Everything's working fine, nice and loud. Am I talking too loudly? Is it? Sorry, I'll whisper. I don't know. Is it am I talking too loudly? Have I got the microphone? Maybe it's because I'm excited about being in Africa and all that. Come on in. 1 minute to 10. How are we doing? I know yesterday the pattern building the frame, it was a bit of a challenge, wasn't it? I know. We have to stretch ourselves. One day we stretch ourselves, the next day we take our foot off the pedal, then we stretch ourselves, then we take our foot off the pedal. And then we revisit things that we've done before. Today we're going to revisit a couple of things that we've done before. Oh yeah, we are. All good. Stuart, am I talking too loudly? I remember my son Mark, he used to get, when he got excited, he had quite a loud voice, and to the point where they thought there was something wrong with his hearing, because he was always shouting. and I remember we always used to say, use your indoor voice, Mark. Use your indoor voice. Oh, sorry, Mum. Indoor voice. Well, I'll use my indoor voice, if that's okay. Come on in. Good morning. Where are you? Where are you? I got a lovely message yesterday from a lady in Pennsylvania. Boom. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah, it's good to have your company, you know. And our little shack, it seems to be reaching out a lot further than we think. I like that. I like that. And I noticed that lots of different things, like yesterday evening was the last time we showed our support for the NHS. Apparently, when, why, who says, you know? So now we've been told we don't clap anymore on a Thursday. Okay. So are they going to tell us that we can't doodle anymore at 10 o'clock? I don't think so. Right, what's the time? 10:01. 10:01. Come on in. Good morning. Time to start. Welcome to the Shack. Safe, happy and creative. Stay home and craft. Okay, shall we have a look at what we were doing? This week we've been in Africa, haven't we? I had a little bit of a, yesterday I got it all spelt wrong, so it's all right, we'll correct it all today. I could see the A's were all there, but they were all in the wrong place. Forgive me. Forgive me. I tell you what, my two, Dave and Paul, when I said to them, Car Salama, right, they said, Tarama Salata? What chance have I got? Tarama Salata, both of them, independently. Car Salama, Tarama Salata? Heathens. Right, come on, let's have a look. We've been to Africa. And I had a little doodle and I thought we'll keep it simple today. We don't have to, why would we do something that's impossible? Yeah, we're not going to do something that's impossible. I mean, unless you're really good at drawing animals, in which case, go for it, right? I'm not, but I've mastered an elephant. And I thought, well, okay, we'll do an acacia tree, we'll do a lovely Serengeti scene, and we'll do an elephant. Because I figured out a really good, easy way to do an elephant. I mean, don't get me wrong, this wasn't all planned months in advance. I'm only a day ahead of you, you know that, don't you? It's like, I keep looking over my shoulder, oh, they're still there, ooh, yeah, they're still there. So there I was, last night at 5 o'clock this morning, trying to master my elephant. But it's all right, I've got it now. You only have to do it a few times and then you know. So I'm now going to share my elephant with you, okay? Right, let's have a look. Okay, easy street. Nice. I haven't had time to finish colouring my artwork in, although I've seen some magnificent artwork on Clarity Worldwide. Absolutely fantastic. I'm not kidding. If you're a bit stuck for what colours to use or how to colour in your African family, just go on Clarity Worldwide and start scrolling, because some of the artwork is just phenomenal. And don't get me wrong, it's not a competition, not at all. And, you know, of course we all pat each other on the back and we say, brilliant, fantastic, because we are fantastic and we are brilliant. All of us, each and every one, you know. But you don't be daunted when you see a masterpiece. Don't be daunted, be excited, because somebody's shared their beautiful artwork and when you put it out there, you make it public, you are in between the lines. You're inviting people to be inspired. And same, I've done that all my life. I always just put it out there. And then if people want to copy what I've done, if they want to use my colours, if they want to use my shapes, I even do digi-downloads in case they can't get the shape right, you know. And so if when you get to do the colouring in, you're a bit lost and you go there for a bit of inspiration, you be amazed. That really is the truth. Just glorious artwork. Okay, so this is what we're going to do today. Let's have a little look. Check out the spelling. Car Salama. 2 A's, 1 A. Car Salama. Be safe. Vroom. Hakuna Matata. Yeah? No worries. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. For the rest of your days. Right, so what we're going to do, yesterday we got a little bit technical, didn't we, with the ruler, right? But it worked, didn't it? I like that. Again, my hand is cramping. I did some red work there. Let me show you up close. I'm not saying do what I do. I'm just saying here's an idea, right? Rather than solid black, just let it focus a minute. There, see? So I've done the yellow in the middle and then red. I looked up the symbol when I started colouring in. See the little Maasai warrior sitting under the acacia tree? Oh, easy. And there's an elephant with his, look at the mum in the baby. Oh. Right, so that's what we're going to do today. Okie dokie. If my hand keeps going till 11 o'clock. Do you know what I think it is? I think it's all this rubbing out I've been doing. Look at the length of these. I'll tell you what. Good news, guys. The pencils and the polychromos and the artist pencils and the rubbers are coming in next week, according to my sources. And I must say, not a moment too soon, because this is getting desperate. I think I've got one more left. Look, and that's it then. Sayonara. Oh, there's another place. We've already been there. Right, okay. So let's have a look. We're going to do the tree. We're going to do the landscape. We're going to learn how to do a little elephant. I thought that would be nice. Maybe do a bit of colouring, a little bit of shading. What do you think? If I keep moving my hand, I've really seriously, I don't know what's wrong with it. Overuse, I think. I've never done so much drawing and colouring on the spin in my life. So, I don't know, it feels numb. But the thing is, I'm very, very left-handed. You know, like my mum, she is left-handed, but she writes with her right hand because they forced her to. You know, that was that generation where they thought it was bad. You know, fortunately, I came in at a point where they didn't force you to use your wrong hand. I could no sooner write with my right hand than I could eat with my feet, you know. I couldn't. Well, I would never reach my mouth for a start. I'd certainly lose a lot of weight. But the point is that it causes me a little bit of concern. I'm going to put one of those things on after here to, you know, one of them. I've had it before when I've overdone it. I know what it is. It's repetitive, isn't it? Repetitive strain injury. RSI, whatever it's called. I think I might go off sick. Joking. Listen, this may be the point in my life where I have to start using my right hand more. But we'll get this elephant sorted out first. Come on in. Have a quick cup of tea. It's very easy. Challenging. Easy. Right, we ready? Are we ready? I was looking up colours. That's what I was telling you. I was looking up colours to see what the symbolism, you know, because I thought, I bet there's colours that represent something well, with the Maasai tribe. And it's true, which is why I've started with him. Right, get this. Red. This is what I found out. So red, Pergolina, got beautiful red in it. Really nice. B11. Right, that's the one I've used here. Red symbolises blood, bravery and unity. So, and also I looked up why the Maasai wear so much red. Well, apparently they think it will frighten the lions off. See, now I personally think it probably attracts the lions, but you know, because you stand out like a sore thumb, look. Now, if he was wearing something a little more muted, the lion probably wouldn't even notice him. But no, bright red is like a traffic light, isn't it? Woo, woo, here I am, Belisha Beacon. Come get me, right? But there we are. They must know more about it than I do. So red stands for blood, bravery and unity. Now white, that's why I put it on the shield, because I thought, right, there we go then, bravery. And then white, so we're going to have to put a little bit of white around as we go as well. It stands for health, peace and purity. So we put a bit of white in somewhere. Blue, that's obviously, that represents the sky. Excuse me, I haven't put any blue in yet. Blue is the sky, but it also represents energy. So I could do with a bit of that. Interesting, huh? And green obviously is the grass, which stands for land and production. So it's pretty self-evident, really. Interestingly, the man tends to wear red because of bravery and the lions, I'm guessing. But the ladies, they tend to wear the bright clothes and the beads and the jewellery. The ladies tend to really go for the colour. So just so that you know, when you get to go colouring, that's something worth bearing in mind, all right? So let's have a look now. Are you ready to start? I would suggest that we start with the tree, right? We'll start with the tree, and then from there, so I've got this area here to work within, yeah? And then once we've got the tree in, we'll put the land in, and then we'll put the elephants in, and we'll put little fella in, and we'll put the sun in, okay? Always in pencil, because obviously we're going to rub bits out, aren't we? So I'm going to use an HP. Everybody happy? Are you ready to rock and roll? Are we going to doodle a lovely scene, a Serengeti scene? Are we? Serengeti, what a beautiful word. I was telling you earlier this week the words turn me on. I do love beautiful words. Serengeti. Serengeti. Casalama. Right. Okay. Tree. So what we're going to do is make a tree. And I'll show you again, it's the sweep of the hand. Look, it goes up and down again. See the curve on an acacia tree? Like that. So let's just make a light pencil curve, just like that. Like that. It's going to go from there to there. That's my tree. See, you've got to, rather than copy mine, you want to get your idea in. Let me just show you, for example. So the tree, let's just get the tree shape in. So let's assume that it's going to go, let's assume it's going to be like that, right? Actually, I tell you what, let's not assume that. Let's put it looks, only because I know, it looks more attractive if the trunk is a little bit off, like that, off centre. See? So you've got that going on, then you bring the trunk down like that. It's just for the shape first. That's not, can you see that all right? So it goes like that, but that's not the shape of the trunk, that's just the outer limbs, if you like. It just gives us something to go by, doesn't it? Then we're going to go like that, and then, yeah, that'd be lovely. Got enough room for our elephants. Wunderbar. Okay, so that's why I wanted to put the trunk over that way a little bit. You've got to kind of think it through, haven't you? See? Trunk's over that way so that we can get the elephants in. I mean, if push comes to shove, you could always put them on that side, but then where are you going to put him? And so it goes on, right? Right. Okie dokie. So you've got that bit. Now, what we're going to do now is put the trunk, let's do the top, let's do the canopy first, the top of the tree. And I'm just going to look for, just bear with me a minute. It's blooming hot in it. Is it hot where you are? It is like a sauna up here. I'm going to have to think about getting a fan. If the Dyson ones don't make too much noise, do they? Does anyone recommend a good fan? Right. Okay. So what we're going to do now is kind of cut in. So it's quite a jagged, see? It's quite flat, the acacia tree. So you're going to make some, just random. Just make it random. It doesn't have to be that many. Just a bit jaggedy. Okay? See? So jagged like that. And then around the bottom, now this is interesting, because when you look at the acacia tree, see, you've got the outer limbs here, but then you've got gaps. So that's why the sun in the background, you can see where the gaps are, can't you? Cool with this? Right, let's have a look. So what we're going to do now is, don't worry about the jaggedy bit here. Let's look at the old gnarled trunk. Let's call this a really old tree, right? So now we're bringing the bough, we're bringing the great big old trunk. These are quite big trees, you know. Beautiful acacia trees. Lovely shady tree. Wouldn't you like to sit under there? This fella's obviously figured it out. Look. Have a look again. Right, so you come like that, under there. And what we're doing here is bringing these two trunks in. We'll worry about all that in the middle in a minute. You can achieve a lot, you see. So you bring the trunks in like that, see? Don't worry about this bit, because you're going to make your man sit under there. Right, so now what we want to do next is make this trunk. Don't worry, because we'll be rubbing bits out and everywhere. So we're just going to come down, bring a trunk, this big trunk here, right there. So there's a hole there. See, so now what we're doing here is, in effect, we're creating another. See, this is a hole here, isn't it? See, so then what we want to do now, let's make sure we're getting the holes right. If that's a trunk, you've got to make holes. If that's a trunk, that's a hole, that's a trunk. Do you see what I mean? You're making holes. And as you make the holes, so you make the gaps in the tree. See? You could just make little gaps. So if you like, there's a hole there. More will be revealed in a minute. You can do this as you like. What we've got now, if I was to shade this in, that's a trunk, that's a trunk, that's a trunk, that's a trunk, that's a trunk. See, and then branches go up. If I want to bring the tree down a little bit, then all I've got to do is drop a couple of these down, like bring this one down a bit, and then there's more foliage. See, just drop that down, bring that down, and then straight away the tree's got more foliage. These are just the holes then. It's entirely up to you. See, then you could bring another one of those limbs, those, see, they do sit like that. They come like that. See? It's dead easy, but really effective. Do you remember when we did the Carmel? There was, we did the cypress, the lone cypress. This is a little bit more detailed than that. But certainly. So now what you want to do is make sure you like the shape. See, I think I've gone a little bit too, I don't want all those. I'm going to change my shape a little bit. You see? Like that. I like that better. Bingo. See how you can just change it? It's cool, isn't it? To have that kind of control. See, and that's one of the reasons. I'm leaving it deliberately to so that you can see. One of the best things about drawing and doodling is that you control it, don't you? The more you do this as well, the more control you will get. And just think about the fact that you can draw your people, you can change their dresses, their shapes, their faces, their eyes, their lips, the tree. You know, it's not a photograph, it's yours. It's yours. Fantastic, really. Look, remember, it's your art. It's your art. It's your acacia tree. What? Brilliant. There's no other acacia tree in the entire African continent like yours, and I don't mean that in a sarcastic way. I think that's fantastic. I didn't look up an acacia tree. We've got a set of stamps and I drew the last one and I still have a memory of how it has this sort of flat, like a big umbrella. Now, fantastic in the African sun. You really want an acacia tree in your garden, don't you? Right, you ready? Okay, acacia tree sorted. Yeah? Now we need a ruler. Because what we're going to do now, let's have a look. This is just the way I build pictures. Now I'm going to put the line in there. See, so I'm going to establish the tree's not on the line. The tree's in front of the line. So what that does is that creates depth. It's a very basic trick, but that creates depth. The hills create more depth because then the sun isn't just behind the horizon, the sun's behind the hills. So it's like layers, isn't it? You're building layers. And that's why the elephant, his head, is just in front because that creates depth again. Okay? So what we'll do now is we'll add I reckon about there. Just add a straight line, because this is going to be, if we do it with a ruler, that'll do. See, that's that there. I reckon that'll be about right. Maybe a bit lower. Don't matter really, just means the tree's a bit further down the front, doesn't it? So that will work. Depends how far away do you want the tree to be? In fact, I couldn't. Oh, there's nothing like a bit of real-time art, is there? I want to do it a little bit lower because I want the hills to come in as well. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit further, like that. There you go. How are you doing? All right. This is easy, isn't it? So then now we've done that, and then what we'll do is we'll just bring some hills in. Watch, like that. You decide on where your hills are. Like they're not mountains. They're just. I bet they're high when you get closer. I bet they're really high when you get closer. Okay. So there's your land. Put you down a bit further even in a minute when I ink it. That'll do. Right, so there's your land now. Your landline. Landline sounds like a telephone. Right. Right, I'm just trying to... That'll do. Right, so that's that. That's the line. That's that. And then we need the sun. Should we put the sun in? Are you happy with this? Are we happy with this? Come on, we want to get this done because we've got to concentrate on the elephants. Right, so I'm using the dies. Not that I want you to buy them. Well, you could if you wanted to. They're great dies. You need something to draw around to make a sun, don't you? And I'm going to use my die because it's just the right size. So I'll go like that. And then you've got to decide where you want the sun to be. How much do you want it peeping out? How big do you want it? You know, the thing about these, see, joking aside, look, you could make like a ridiculous, couldn't you? I did actually. I made it like really big and then I thought, oh, you know, like overwhelming. There is a balance, isn't there? You can make a little one. Look, you can take this one. Hang on. You pop that up there. That'd look quite good. You see? So a lot of you have got dies. That's why I know this is easy. But you could draw around anything. Draw around a glass. Draw around whatever you've got. Don't forget, the basis for what we do here is a pencil and a piece of copy paper. That is it, my friends. So I'm going to go about there, sundown, sundown. So we're going to come round the top of like that. Then when I get to the tree, I'll stop. When I come through the gaps, like that, there, boom. So that's all going to be yellow in there, isn't it? Nice. Do you see it all right? Piece of cake. Always do, for me, pencils first, and then when we've done the pencil, then we'll ink it out, because I need to make sure, after I've just spent 3 days sorting out these dresses, right, the last thing I want to do is make a Horlicks of my acacia tree and my sun. Pretty basic, but it'll be lovely when we shade it all in. Cool? Everybody happy? Right. So that's our scene, so to speak. And then the next thing we want to do, just let's get everything in place first. Should we put our little fella in? Can you see him all right? Let me just... Let's have a look. It's going to go a little bit fuzzy until he focuses. Look, see him sitting there? Have a quick peep at the elephant at the same time. Right, see the little guy sitting there? So he's definitely a Maasai warrior. He definitely got a red robe on and he's got a stick with him, a walking stick, but he's having a rest under the shade of the acacia tree. Once upon a time, there was a warrior. He was a Maasai warrior. Cool, couldn't you write a book? I'm gonna, especially if my hand packs up, because I can speak it into a machine. Right, okay, so now we're going to do the little fella. Can I make a suggestion? It's up to you. You want to put him straight into the picture? He's going to sit under the tree. So let's just sit him under the tree on the rocks, on the what they're called, roots. He's on the roots. Right, so he's just sitting there like that. And I'm going to... Right, so the shape we're looking for. Should we do him in large? Otherwise, it's quite difficult to see him, isn't it? Let's go to this camera. Let's go to a piece of copy paper. And I'll show you this little guy, but we'll do him in large. Because I think if you see him in large, you'll get it. It's so basic. So here he is, right? This is his robe. This is where he's sitting on the floor, right? So that's his back. His robe comes down like that. He's got his knees up like that, and then his foot's going to be about there. So his head will tell you everything. There's his head. Colour his head in black, and then you'll get more of a feel for it. Right, so there's his head. He'll make his nose point downwards, and then he's looking down. Make his nose point upwards, he's looking at the sky. But either way, right, he's oblivious to the elephant coming up from behind. Right, so that's his head. Do you see how easy it is? So just like that, like that, like that. You can even put his foot out. Look, he's having a stretch. Okay. Then his hand comes up like that. Just put a stick up for the minute. You can always beef it up in a minute. And then his walking stick comes down like that. So his walking stick comes down like so. Okay, to meet his arm. And now you can put his fist around the stick and you can beef up his arm a little bit. Because I know he's walked a long way, but he's still got... You're not a stick insect. Right, there we go. So he's got his hand... See? And there's his fist. Sorted. That's all you've got to do. And now you've got to do that, but pequeña, really tiny under the tree. Because if you did that under the tree, it would be ridiculous, right? He'd be bigger than the elephant. So, and that's actually quite forgiving, because when you go to put him in here, like now, so you've done it in large, so you get the picture. Now you're going to go like that. Up he goes. There's his knee. Like that. There's his little foot. There's his head. There's his arm. Then he's got his stick. Like that. Right. Then we can flatten. He's sitting. He's got a bit of a round derriere there. Ah, dirty. Hang on. Right, a bit flatter, I've decided he's going to be. There you go. Head. See, when he's that small, it's very forgiving when they're that small. See what I mean? Like, and there's his stick. There's his hand. There's his head. And then he's on the... That's it. Brilliant. Okay, so he's sitting under the tree. Wunderbar. You got it? It's perspective, isn't it? I like that. There he is. Okay, skirting round the elephant we are here. Okay, hang on a minute. Can't be avoided. We're going to do the... Right, can I say, do the elephant on another piece of paper. Just because if you've done all that work, okay, and you've done all the inking and all the board, you know, you've done all that, right? The last thing you want to do is bodge it with an elephant in it. So you do the elephant, just like we did the little Maasai warrior, do it on a bit of scrap, get your eye in, figure out the trick, right? Because there is a trick to it. Once you figure the trick out, then you transfer. Seriously, I always do. I've always got one that I've transferred from, which is a right mess, because it's like, I tried a giraffe, but that wasn't going to go. And I thought, nah, forget giraffe. And some of you may want to try a giraffe. I ran out of time and my hand was hurting. And I just thought, oh, do you know what? I've got a stamp of a giraffe. If I want a giraffe, I'll put a stamp in. Or I'll learn a giraffe on another day when I've got more time. That's what I thought. But the elephant, I could cope with the elephant. Yeah. Look, I'll show you my scrap. Look, so you see my thought process. Look, so Look, the giraffe, I thought, nah, I tried, but he didn't. I couldn't work his knees out, and I thought, oh, do you know, I've had enough of this. And then they looked more like something out of Walt Disney, like a cartoon. I like these, but then I put them so that looked ridiculous. They were sitting on top of there, but I got the shape right. I nailed that. Yeah, you know. So, and this giraffe, I mean, my God, look at the size of him. Perspective. Yeah, so as I say, there are no experts in this building. Let me see if I can find... right, we're going to go for the elephant now. Right? Just bear with me. I've got so many bits of paper here. It's baffling. But I know how to draw an elephant. I've done enough of them now since yesterday. So let's have a go. If I take... let's take this bit of paper. Let's make a line. Do a line. Right, you ready? Just do a line. And that's going to be where the elephant's going to walk. When you think about an elephant, what are the things, like African elephant, any elephant really, they've all got, what's the first thing that you think of when you think of an elephant? Trunk, right? So you think of the trunk, and the next thing you probably think of is the big ears. This is the African one, it's got big ears, Indian one's got little ears. So you're thinking all the time now, okay, so he's got, you know he's got a trunk, you know he's got tusks. He's got tusks, he's got a trunk, he's got a kind face, really, right? He's huge, isn't he? And he's got quite big legs, 4 of them, okay? And has he got a tail? He sure does. So we've got the basics, right? We've got the basics. I've just slung tea all over me creation. Look, here we go. Trunk, legs, yeah, tusks, it's all there. Let me just get a tissue. It's all right. Tea stain. It's all right. Wouldn't you be frustrated? The golden rule at our place, right, at work, because we're an art company, the golden rule is that you never, ever, 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 ever put drinks on a table where there's artwork. But as we're learning, rules are made to be broken, right? You know that one. Never put artwork, never put tea or coffee on the table where there's artwork. And I'm sure we all know why, don't we? But whatever. Rules were made to be broken. That's what my English nan always used to say. Okay, a little bit of tea, don't matter. Elephant. Are we ready? Come on. We've got half hour to master an elephant. HB, he's watching us. So the first thing we want to do is, if this is the floor, right, let's get the trunk in. And you're going to do sketches. So what that means is you're not going to go straight in with a really heavy hand. You're going to kind of decide really, really lightly when you're sketching a shape. The shape of the elephant is the key, isn't it, really? The whole thing about an elephant is its shape. So if we've got a trunk, let's just get the trunk in. And let's bring the trunk down like that. And let's curl it over. It's got a little mouth, hasn't it, at the end of the trunk. Let's bring it back up again. And then it's got a face, hasn't it? It's not a hose pipe. It does get fatter when it comes into the face, you see? So here's the face, if you like. Look, that bit there. Right, so then we've got the hose, the trunk, right, like that. And it goes up, and it's got like a knobble on the top of its head, hasn't it? Now the next thing, as I understand it, is an ear. So if we just decide, right, let's just make a great big, like a kidney bean. They are, look. Let's just put an ear in. Okay, this is going to be fun. Come on, we're having fun. It's only a bit of paper and an HB pencil and a tea stain. Come on. Don't get all, oh, I can't draw an elephant. I couldn't draw an elephant 24 hours ago either. And I wish I could show you the one, because I was dead chuffed with the one that I did on a bit of scrap, but I can't find the scrap now. Oh, typical grey. I've got lips though. God, that seems like weeks ago we did the lips, doesn't it? Oh well, I'll just have to do another one. Right, so we've got the ear. Right, big ear. Got the trunk. Right, that'll do for the moment. Right, I'm going a bit heavier. Now, what helped me now, right, so the legs are going to come down like that. What helped me was to make a curve like that. Like that. Just helps. Right? Look. Curve. Otherwise, if you start with the legs and you start working your way backwards, it's not easy. But if you do it this way, I found this quite straightforward to make a curve like that. We can always change the curve in a minute because it looks a little bit stylized. But now, for example, when the elephant comes down, let's say it comes down like this, doesn't it? Do you notice how an elephant comes in a sort of a... It goes up, but it comes down quite like that. It's got a shape that's quite slanted at the back, especially the little baby ones. They seem to be slanted at the back. And then this one is like at the front like that. See, so if you look now, that really isn't a bad shape for an elephant, is it? Yeah, could be worse, couldn't it? See, so you've got the up at the back and then it comes down like that. I'm pressing harder so you can see it. But now the front leg, because they've got quite big feet, haven't they? Big feet. Like that. So we'll just make them, the two, this is the front one and the back one on this side of the body. Yeah? Right, and then the tail, quite high up. He uses the tail a lot, the elephant. The elephant uses the tail a lot to flick dust at himself and cool off. Do you know they get sunburn? Right, so there's his tail. That'll do. He's got quite a powerful tail, actually. What about tusks? They've got tusks as well. So we've got, they're down here somewhere. So they seem to be around this area here. So there's the face. Let's get the tusks in. So we've got one in front of one's in front and one's behind, isn't it? So we put one in here like that. That'll do. And then we'll put the other one behind there. Perfect. It's all right. That'll do. Okay. So we've got the tusk in. Got to get all the bits in. See, and then you can get rid of the trunk through the tusk because that looks weird. And as soon as you do that, you'll see it looks better. There you go. So that tusk's on that side of the trunk, that tusk's on that side. How are we doing? Come on. We're only doing it on a bit of scrap and then we'll transfer it. Right, so we've got our arch like that. Front legs. Now let's do the back legs. So this is the back one coming in here, but it's further away. So you can't bring it down to the line. It's going to be a bit, obviously, right? So let's bring that trunk in, that leg in like that. And then this one, I wonder if they do walk like this. My one does, right? It just makes it a lot easier. There you go. So that one's like that. He's got his foot in. See? Who says? And then, right, because this looks a little bit cartoony. That's the word I'm looking for. Take that out now. That, because it's helped you get your shape, hasn't it? And then bring that down a bit like that. Boom. How about that then? Have you got an elephant? But the curve, I found the curve helped me to be able to get an elephant more than just, like random once. I was able to get it more than once. Let's have a look up close and let's see. So you see it's the trunk and then the ear. I could make the ear even bigger if I wanted to. Then I did that curve, but it was quite like drawing around a 10p piece really, or a 5p piece. And then I'm wrapped. See, the body, as I recall, the body's got quite a slant on the back. It's not bony. He's not a bony-ass cow. He's an elephant, right? And so it's slanted at the back like that. And then 2 feet come in there. That look nice. Should we do the little baby one? Do you want to try the baby one? A bony-ass cow. Sorry about that. Oh, I tell you what, groovy guard. Great use for a groovy guard. It's really getting warm in here now. How are you? Are you happy? Elephants are amazing. Should we do the baby one? Come on then. Let's look at the original one so you can see what I'm up to. It looks like, it's just cute. I remember years ago being in Sri Lanka at the elephant orphanage in what was Ceylon, Sri Lanka. And there's an elephant orphanage there. And the little ones were just breathtaking, just too beautiful for words. Right, let's have a look. There's another place we could go, Sri Lanka, India. There you go, look, little fella. Same principle, check it out. The only difference is I made the trunk go up rather than down because I want him to hang on to his mum. His mum, yeah, he's definitely mummy at the front. Okay, should we give it a go? Come on, let's do that thing, shall we? Number 2 camera. Right, so we've got the tail like that. So what we could do, we might change the tail because the little one's coming along. What we'll do now is we'll bring the trunk in of the little one like that. Okay? And then it's the same. Can you see this all right? Is it a little bit too small? Let's have a look. Then we've got the head, haven't we? So the head and quite a big ear. It might be a little bit too low by the time I put my... Oh, I don't know though. He's a little rinky-dink one, isn't he? Put my circle in again. Do you see this all right? I need to get in a bit tighter. Do I need to get in a bit tighter for you? A bit late now in the day, isn't it? Sorry about this. Let's have a look. See him all right? There you go. That's better. Do, 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 for the rest of my days. Right. So you've got your curve again there. And then you've got your little head and your ear. That'll do. Don't worry about that too much at the moment. And then we're going to bring his body in. Right, so again, it's that curve. Hang on, his ear looks a bit weird. Looks like Dumbo. Right, down he comes. That's about right. You know, when you're looking at it, you know whether it's right or not. And if it's wrong, don't, just stop a minute and go, well, hang on a minute. I need to change something. See, I think his ear's too big. I mean, I know, they've got big ears, but that's absurd. Right? Like that. I don't think he's grown any tusks yet. I think that comes later. Right, ear again. Ear again. Get it? Right. Okay, so there's his little body. There's that. It's when you put the back legs in. Look, he's skipping along. This is like something out of Jungle Book. Look, little tail with a little thing at the back. Little brush to flick. And then he's got his mum's tail through there. That's it. So that's her brush. Like that. Tail, trunk, like that. Let's make sure you got the. If you're happy with it, don't. And if you're not happy, don't pen it, right? Because he was better before, but it's all right. Just keep going until you're happy. Let's get that. It's the ear that's eluding me this time, right? That works. Okay, and then the last thing we do is take that roundness out of the. Yeah, take the roundness out of the curve, and straight away that's transformational. As soon as you do that, there he is. So he's got his little feet in the background, his little legs, quite chunky. They grow into him. That was what I noticed when we were in Sri Lanka. The feet on the baby elephants, it's like they're huge. And these little tiny bodies, it's like when you look at puppies, you know how they grow into their feet, don't they? Into their paws. Beautiful. Right, so that's his head. There's his little mouth. That'll do. I could get caught up on this, but I'm going to stop. So there is how to do an elephant. Are we cool with that? Now, whether or... I'm going to make a suggestion now, okay? Because we've learnt how to do it, but this is something that you want to kind of take your time. You do, don't you? You want to take your time. And I want to show you something else as well. It's just, let me see if let's just say I do this. This is a way that I work. Say I'm really pleased. I'm going really thick now on this scrap. this is just a scrap, isn't it? But say I'm really happy with the shape of this particular elephant, right? So I've come in like this. Let me just show you, because a lot of you are parchers, aren't you? A lot of you. That reminds me, the groovy download, the free groovy download project is going to be at 12 o'clock today, isn't it, Stuart? Is that right? So say I've done that, right? And then I want to transfer that to my picture. Let me show you what I do. Just excuse me leaning across. Hang on, I want to show you something, because I use it a lot when I'm working, but I think I've got to show you what I'm doing. See, I've got a light wave. So when you buy these light tablets from us, right, they're not just for parchers, but a lot of you have got them. This is why I'm explaining. When you turn the lights on, let me see, off, 1, 2, 3, let's get it up to the brightest. When I put my scene like this, watch, when you look from above, you see how you can see through it. So it's on copy paper, right? But I can, if I wanted to put my elephants there now, and I think, how am I going to transfer that perfectly? Because I'll never get it the same, I'll never get it that lovely again. Right, look. So that's what I'm saying. I could put them now there. I think I might. You see what I'm getting at? And then I can take my pencil and I trace my own artwork through from copy paper to copy paper. And it's bright enough if you make it good line art. See, I didn't even go over the little fella, but I can see through him easily. I just wanted to explain tricks. You know, don't think for a minute, if I've drawn a really good elephant or a really good Maasai warrior, I don't think, oh, I wish I'd done that on best now. I go to the light wave, underlay, a light source from underneath, a light source from underneath. I've always used a light table, and not just for parchment. I've always used it for, and that's what artists do. That isn't something. It's not cheating. That's just using your loaf, really, isn't it? So, as far as the elephants go, are we cool for this, right? As far as the elephants go, what I am suggesting is that we do something else now, right? We do a bit of colouring or we do a bit of shading, because it's already 10 to 11. And then your elephants here, right, which are nice, aren't they? You can play with them, you can check them out, you can have another, go along this line, make a whole elephant train, the whole herd, wouldn't that be lovely, right? You make a whole elephant train, and then you could transfer them. If you've got a light wave or tracing paper, you can transfer them later. Yeah? Did you know that elephants, there's some factoids about elephants, right? First of all, the female is the head of the family. When you see elephants, the families are usually led by females, which I think is great, right? They don't need much sleep. They only need about 4 hours. They're emotional creatures. Their memory is impressive, and they love a good shower. Now, you could have been describing me there. I'm an emotional creature. I've got a really good memory. You know that expression, got memory like an elephant? I don't know about you, but I think it's a female thing, right? And I do love a good shower. And I'm an emotional creature. I'm a super sensitive soul, aren't you? Yeah? So there you go. I feel quite okay with being called an elephant now. Right, so that, love, that is going to be your afternoon doodle, if you fancy having a go at that. And then the light table if you can, So that's my thoughts on that one. Okay. So let's go to our background, right? And let's have a look at the colouring, because I think there are just a couple of little things that I want to kind of just throw your way so that you understand. When you ink up, once you're happy with the shape, then you're going to ink it up, right? I'm not going to ink up now. I'm just going to give you a couple of tips with colour. Let me just see if I can fast forward. Yeah, I can fast forward. Here's one that I printed off earlier. So it's a print, but it'll do for the job that I'm doing now. Only because I'm not going to waste my time inking up now. I just want to give you a couple of tricks and tips. When you do the sun, right? I know that what we're going to do. We did this with the geisha. Do you remember when we did the geisha? What we're going to do is take the lightest colour, like this is B9. Let's have a look. B9. Yeah, it's a nice yellow. Okay. I'll show you. B9. Be nice, B9. That's how to remember it. Right, so we're going to do a really light colour of B9. See, this is the original one. This is the inked up one. Now, this is the one that I just ran a scan of, just so that I could show you how to do the colouring, yeah? Okay, so what we're going to do is use the flat of the... If you watch it from the front, you'll see. Because this is where you could just drink your tea and watch. You don't have to do this now. You can do this when we're finished, right? Sometimes it's nice just to chill now. If you've nailed the elephant, you're gonna be fine. You use the flat of the pencil to get an undercoat in, right? And you just... What I do is I use this finger, this one here, to stop me going too far. And I'm just going to really gently just do an undercoat like this. These are just a couple of little tricks that I want to show you. Then I'll come across. See this finger here, this one, any finger, you use any finger. I'm using this one. Do you know what's interesting? Before we started, my left hand was really giving me stick. And now it's fine. Isn't that funny? Distraction, you see, it works. It really does. It works every time, doesn't it? There you go, just go in there. I'm not thinking about my hand, even though I can't hardly feel it. I'm just pushing it around now. As soon as I think about it, it goes dead. That's weird. Right. So you see, you get your colour in first, your undercoat, like that. Okay, let's have a look. So when we look at this, you'll see you've got just the undercolour, haven't you? Like that. And then what I'm going to do now is just tricks and tips. I'm going to turn my artwork upside down because I'm coming in from the bottom. I want the bottom to be darker, right? And then I want it to kind of come up like airbrushed almost, right? Like a real vignette. So what I'm going to do now is just add a little bit of colour. Again, I'm using the side of the pencil and I'm just using the pergoliner. Polychromos, you've got lovely yellows in the polychromos for this. You've got lovely yellows. You've got lovely yellows in both sets, polychromos and pergoliners. Right, B pencils. Right, so I've done that. And then, for example, what other colour have I got there? Let's have a look. Got all my colours all ready. Oh, here they are. So I've got a darker colour there now. What have we got here? B10, that figures. B9, B10, right? So if I go over now, always working from the bottom, you see. I'm just going to... working on the flat. And what we're doing is we're just adding a bit more depth. See how it's getting darker? But you know, you don't press too hard. If you press too hard, then what will happen is, as you know, suddenly you won't be able to add any more depth of any other colour. See, this way, if I just go layer on layer on layer, then in a minute I could go to dark red, just layering up, layering up, layering up, right? Here's now I'm going to an orange. What have I got here? What's this one? Cadmium orange. Right, and again, I'm using the flat, see? And then we just, you're experts at colouring. Now, the thing is, next week, you know, today we leave Africa, sadly, And so next week, we're going to hang out at home, aren't we? And we're going to get the colouring books out. Are we cool with that? I would like to do that. I need to do some colouring next week, and I hope that you join me. And we'll pick one of the postcards again, and I'll figure out some new tricks and tips, and then we'll just spend a week developing our colouring skills. We're getting pretty good at it now, you know. Right, see how, let me turn it round. See that graduation? It's lovely, isn't it? See, so you can really build up your depth. A bit dark around the outside. Always got my finger there. Stops me going over the edge. See? Then, what else did I want to show you? A couple of little tricks, a couple of little finishing tricks. Let's take a grey one. I've got a light grey. I want to just take a light grey. And what I want to do now, because I used dark grey in the tree, and I used on the land, oh yeah, really good colour. These are my favourite colours. Look, boring but lovely. Cream, Strohgelb, and warm grey too. Just beautiful colours, right? And that's what this is. And then I added a brown. I can't remember which brown it was, but it was a brown, like raw umber. That's the one it was. It was raw umber. But what I'm saying is, right, with the greys, see, it's very quick what you can do now. Let me just show you quickly. If I just add a little bit of colour in that area there. So again, undercoat first. I'm using that lovely creamy colour, which we discovered this week, right? And then what I'll do is I'll take that grey, that warm grey too, and I'll just add a little bit of that colour along the land. See, along there, like so. So that colour is going to start breaking up the land from the hills. That's what I mean. Right, so along there, like that. Got to take your time really doing this. But you can see immediately. And then what I'm going to do is with this one, I'm going to venture into the under here now. So now we're coming in behind with that one. Behind your fella there, your Maasai man. Right, see? If the sun is hitting that tree, then it's going to throw a shadow. So what I want to do now is use this tree. Right, I'm going to go up there and get some really nice greys going. But now let's make it almost like a reflection. If you think about it, right, we could do that. So that's going to be, because all this blank space here is going to end up being, it's good to have blank space. Don't think for a minute that you need to fill every space. I mean, you could put a big plant there if you feel like it, but I think less is more. That's my personal take on that, right? But what I'm saying is, use this great big space to put, there's the canopy if you like, there's the top of the tree, look, see? So there's the shadow, it's getting thrown down. Here's the elephant, if you like, there's the elephant, there's his fella, there's his little baby, her little baby, that's going to be mummy, right? So you get your shadow in like that, that's going to be fabulous, you see? And then the only other thing, let me come to this one. When you're doing something like this, you see how, oh, I do know what I wanted to show you. The raw umber is when you add the raw umber to the two bits, the brown, and you go above and below that line. That's how you get that beautiful, like almost like a shimmer, you know, like a haze. When the sun hits, you go up and down, you go over the line, and you'll get, it's almost like a heat haze. That's what it's called, a heat haze, right? This is what I wanted to show you. On the red, I used a pergolina red. I tell you what, the reds in the polychromos are phenomenal too, right? But I want to show you something, because it doesn't matter how hard you press, whether it's with a pergolina or a polychromo, right? It still looks a bit gritty. Now I want to show you, if you look at the top part of the, let's go right in tight. Excuse right, see how it's really smooth at the top, but it's still quite grainy at the bottom, yeah? The only difference between the top and the bottom is that I took a dry blending pen, keep going on about these. I mean, you could take, I think these are great. These are worth investing if you're doing this. I don't know what else you could take to do this job. But when you go across like this and you just smooth out, you watch how easily this is. And these nibs just get into that area. Look, crazy good. And straight away, you get that really, really opaque, that shine that you want on a shield, you see? And you can see it's just in the middle bit that I haven't done. So fantastic, really, I think, you know. And what I'll do today is when we finish, I'll load a little gallery of gorgeous work. Use just to Africa, a little tribute, because it has been a wonderful trip, hasn't it? It's been such a great trip. And what I'll do is I'll just load these lovely pieces of artwork for you, just beautiful creations by the design team and myself. Look, just lovely, give you some ideas, you know, give you some colour ideas, give you some fun ideas, give you some shape ideas. If you're interested in the shapes, I love that. On to the next great adventure. Hey, there you go. Story. And this girl, I drew her. This is funny. Who did this one? Barbara Lancaster. I love this. It's so cool. It looks like they're all running. Look, they're all queuing up for the loo. Social distancing. Beautiful artwork. When I looked at it, I curled up laughing because I thought it looks like they're all standing outside Waitrose waiting outside Waitrose. Anyway, so I hope that you've enjoyed our trip to Africa. I think it has been just a joy. I love your artwork. And next week, again, we're going to be colouring in. Okay, stretch. Come on, girls and boys. I know there's lads as well involved. Oh, I tell you what. Look. No peeping. See, if I didn't... Yeah, that's interesting. I must have lost weight. Cool. It does the body good to stretch, doesn't it? Hey? Have a great weekend. Asante, Ka Salama, and all that good stuff. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. I just thought I'd leave you with that little music worm. The rest of your days. It's great to have your company. I love the SHAC. I tell you what, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. As long as you stay here, I'll stay here. And I might put something on my arm, and I might have to do a little bit before and after stuff. But you know what? It'll be fine. It's going to be okay. And I've still got another one here. So have a fantastic weekend. I don't think there's anything I've missed. I do want to tell you at 1 o'clock on Hochanda, we're back on again. So do have a look on the TV, hochanda.com. It's a great channel. Keep you entertained all weekend. And other than that, I'll blog. Head on over to Clarity Worldwide. When you've done your elephant, I can't wait to see your elephants. I really can't. I know that they're going to be spectacular. So have a fantastic weekend. Lots of love to you. I don't think I've forgotten anything. Bye-bye now. God bless.